And as Joe predicted, those cars that have now just left the pit lane are about half a lap behind the rest of the pack. So is that going to be the right strategy? We'll have to wait and see. Kevin Say waiting, not yet accelerating and getting the race underway. Now he goes, pulls immediately a few car lengths over the McLaren behind of Sean Balfe. That was a very good restart from Kevin Say, and I think as we get this race underway properly now, the real battle is going to be the one for second place. Across the line they go. Kevin Say leads here at Silverstone, as at long last we have GT cars racing at full pelt into Copse Corner. Already a move being attempted there further back by the number 9 McLaren. That was Mark Smith for Paddock Motorsports, and way wide over the curb goes Simon Orange in the number 67 McLaren. The first lap at speed, Joe. So much to learn and no time to learn it.
Really not. These drivers obviously had safety car laps, but they're nearly a minute a lap slower, 30% slower than they would be. As we see Petrobelli down the inside of Tilbrook there. Can he get it stopped? Trying to get the cut back there, and the orange McLaren. They've actually swapped chassis from Alton Park, Clutton and Tilbrook, so they'll be hoping for better fortune. You can see, got a good drive out. Can Petrobelli close the door?
Indeed so. Down the hill they go, and towards the left-hander at the club chicane. Around the outside goes Simon Orange there. Was that a lead change then in GT4? Because I think you said the Ginetta was in front. Of course, it was the McLaren, wasn't it, that started at the head of the pack. We'll look in the background, see what's going to happen, who appears first. Yes, it is the Ginetta in front. So we've had a lead change in GT4, but this battle towards the front of the GT3 field looks electric, and Jacopo Petrobelli up for the fight. Fight for second, though, is side by side at Luffield, and to the outside, in theory, the grippier line goes the Aston Martin, and Jacopo Petrobelli is, I think, about to emerge from the corner in second place. Look at the extra traction and momentum he had from the outside line, making this look easy, but look at the gap now that he's got to try and bridge to the race leader.
But if they're all down the inside, Orange bounces off the inside of Smith. Smith should get the drive on the slightly wetter line.
But they are losing time in traffic. They are perhaps gaining time over the AMS now, but will that come back to bite them later? Richard Neary, meanwhile, with a spin at Copse Corner, and Richard Neary from 6th position, unfortunately, with a moment, Joe.
Yeah, see, it doesn't look like he's going to get hit from behind. Goes down the inside, just real lazy spin. I'd imagine he's trying to trail the brake in, so he's braking while turning into the corner to help the front get in, but then the rear goes light and it just rotated round on him.
We'll try and figure out why maybe the pace has gone. There's damage, though, down at the club chicane. That is the number 17 Mercedes. That is Harry George, and that is a very badly damaged car that's stuck in the gravel.
Yeah, there's going to be some contact here, isn't there? There's a lot of bodywork. That's hard, isn't it? The BMW just comes across on him. You tend to brake where the BMW was there, in terms of you brake off the dry line and then move back across. I just don't think he actually saw the Mercedes there and just kind of cut across the front and left the Mercedes nowhere to go. In the gravel trap, you just can't get out of, even with the might of those amazing marshals. Full course yellow, can see Balfe here slowing down to 80 kilometers an hour. All of the cars have an automatic limiter to make sure they don't exceed that 80 k's.
As in comes the leader, Kevin Say. Did Petrobelli follow him in? I'm not sure just yet. No, he didn't. Petrobelli stayed out. That's interesting. So split strategy between the top two, but everybody else is piling in, because what you don't want, Joe, is to sort of force yourself into making an unscheduled pit stop later on. It messes up your strategy, messes up the driver time, and I think this is absolutely the right call, and we have to assume they're coming in now to change to slick tyres, or are they? The race, meanwhile, gets underway, but one of the Lotus in GT4 does not go, and is crawling down the hanger straight, unable perhaps to get back out of full course yellow mode, and that nearly proved absolutely catastrophic as the GT3's behind immediately launched back up to race pace. There is the number 18 car then, no longer Kevin Say at the wheel. That is now Maximilian Goertz, and he has found one of the Barwell Lamborghinis even to have a battle with. Tell you what though, I'm impressed with Jacopo Petrobelli here. He is holding his own right now, isn't he? Meanwhile, Marcus Clutton has finally breached the defences of the number 14 BMW. Dan Harper loses the place and then tries to get it straight back at Abbey. Not usually an overtaking opportunity, especially from that far back, but this is Dan Harper after all. He didn't want to let Clutton get into his rhythm there, but it just didn't quite work, so Clutton starts to pull a bit of a margin, and now another car will close in behind whilst there is drama for the Toyota, and that is a tyre off the rim, possible damage steering, maybe just the puncture, but that car is going to have to limp back to the pit lane. The number 44 car in big trouble. Meanwhile, up the inside goes the number 63 Barwell Lamborghini. That is Ricky Collard battling away with the 27 there of Gamble. That's actually trying to defend its position. Gamble is on the attack here, and Tom is alongside, has his nose ahead, has the inside line for Beckett. Surely Ricky's not going to try and stand his ground on the outside? He does, but the McLaren has the grip and manages to slip through.
Harper's is okay, but I don't think Smalley will be the only one struggling there.
Oh!
So big moment. That's going to be a spin.
Car 32, drive-through penalty, full course yellow procedure, speeding.
Luckily got the clutch in, or the anti-stall kicked in on that Aston Martin. That is looking all one-way traffic as they get on that Audi, which I believe is on slicks. I'm just trying to look at it and see what it can do. It's not really looking any different, so it's hard to call there, but look how dirty the side of the Harper BMW is. Roach got a run on him down the inside into slow 2, as we call it. Drivers, Kutchback going to get him. Can he unwind the lock? It's going to be even. Roach going to brave around the outside? No. Is he going to cut to the inside? Potentially. He's got the run on him. So used to that BMW steaming away down the straights, but the McLaren, mega run. 2 Mercedes as well fighting in the background. There's lots of little sub-genre fights going on, isn't there?
Which makes its way into the loop. We've had a tangle down at Club there. Now, could this be the safety car that some people are waiting for? It's the 17 car again, down at the same part of the circuit. It struggled earlier on, and that was one of the McLarens, but the Mercedes is slightly into the gravel trap.
Mercedes clearly in front and is actually exactly the same as what Clutton did. Just touched it, locked the rear, and the Mercedes fully innocent. And the McLaren might live to fight another day because of the Mercedes knocking off some of his speed.
A few more GT3s in too. Marcus Clutton is in. You have Mardenborough, Marciello. That is the view, in inverted commas, from the number 59 McLaren. Adam Smalley about to make way. We've got the 67 in. Tom Roach handing over once again to Simon Orange. But so far, I don't see anybody making that gamble to slick tyres for the time being.
Gott's doing a 12.2 as we see the paddock car coming to a halt, lights off, and is never a good sign. I think the black wheel is intentionally the wrong colour. I don't think that's anything to do with the problem. What have we got here? The wipers going out of sync. That was weird. That was like, you know, when someone gets tired and their eyes lose their tracking. That was a bit odd. The marshal walking over to that. That's in a pretty fast pace on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's. Yeah, if that car doesn't get going, that's got to be a full course yellow yet again. Yellow flag's being waved very early, and so no one can overtake, which in a GT3 car feels painful when you're stuck behind a GT4, but we've got to get the cars slowed down to see if we can get that car safely out the way.
Very little damage on the front of the McLaren, to answer your question from earlier on. That looked like the paddock Mercedes, having done a Control-Alt-Delete, was getting going again. Perhaps crisis averted there. No need for a safety car for now. As here, Maximilian Gertz comes up to put a lap, would you believe, on Johnny Adam. Up the inside line he will go. Both of these cars have made the same number of pit stops. 1 pit stop for the Mercedes, 1 pit stop for the Aston Martin, and a full lap between them.
Can't think I've seen anything they've done wrong. As we see a car in the wall, is he going to be able to reverse out of it? Looks like it. Very soft touch there, amazingly so, to be able to drop it and hit a concrete wall and drive away. Really shows the strength of that Audi, and it actually looks fine, doesn't it? If we hadn't have picked it up, I don't think the team would have known, and he wouldn't have been dobbed in, but they've really driven away, haven't they? Now they're nearly 35 seconds ahead of this car. So down the inside of Johnson there, gets clean, gets gone. A couple of more GT4 cars, the Lotuses, or Lotai, I guess, and then the Toyota in the middle of that. So some real battling going on here. Collard, is he going to get it stopped now? He's definitely got the pass done, and he gets it stopped really well, parks it up, and job done, I think, there.
Yeah, Loggy was delayed, I think, by the 14 car coming out of Aintree. Had to tighten his line a bit, and Rob Collard carried that momentum all the way down the Wellington straight, and in the end made it look easy. So Rob Collard into second position now. Right, that is the scene down at the entrance to Maggots and Beckett's. It's the 27 car that's taking a bit longer to recover, and more importantly, the driver of the number 27 car that they were taking some extra care of getting out of the car, that being Mark Radcliffe, but he is out of the car, we believe, now, and that car does not look in the best of health, but the good news, he's out of the car, we believe, largely okay. So I think we are going to be able to take a little look deeper at what went on here. But that is a strange place to have an accident, because it's just out of Copse Corner, but not all the way down towards Maggots and Beckett. So something's happened on the straight, hasn't it?
So Martin's actually behind. So Mark is the car in front. Let's watch what happens there. There's something going on in front. Oh. Yeah, he loses control, then collides. So it's what I thought would happen, but the other way round. And then watch this impact. That is a solid concrete wall. He is, what, 3 or 4 meters away. Luckily for Mark, he hits it square, Luckily, he's in a McLaren with a carbon tub. It pops the window out, and I actually spoke to the team. Let's watch this on board. So Mark's 2 cars in front, runs wide, touches that slippery outside bit, then touches it again. He comes across. Martin, fully innocent, unfortunately. No intention from Ratcliffe, of course, just an innocent mistake, but there's enough damage to that Lamborghini where it can't continue. But that was a brutal hit for Mark, and I spoke to the team straight away. Sean Goff, the team principal, texted me. It was just being winded, but I'm not surprised because that is a big impact. Just watch this McLaren again. As it comes back to the left, it hits this solid concrete wall, which is filled with earth behind it. That is a big hit, and for the driver, it's always awful going in sideways. There's no real crash structure in the car, but look at the angle of some of those wheels, and that right one isn't even the one that hit the wall. That's the one that hit. As we see that car pulling off to the side, can't see an obvious problem. Obviously just left the pit lane. What's wrong with that 29 GT4 car?
Well, this is now, unfortunately, giving me flashbacks to Alton Park, because we've got the full course yellow incident dealt with, the safety car's out there, and now we've got another car that needs to be recovered, the number 29 machine. So, yeah, that had been leading in GT4. It was running, it's got going again now, another Control-Alt-Delete. Electrical gremlins, always more common in wet weather races. Hopefully that car will keep going at least back to the pit lane, if not to the checkered flag. And he is well and truly a part of the fight again. There they are at the top of the screen, the yellow McLaren, the orange McLaren. The red BMW is battling with them for position, but of course owes us a pit stop, and then the white and blue McLaren behind them. Meanwhile, it is Ian Loggie's duty to get the race restarted with 27.5 minutes still to go, and it is car number 6 that leads the way, and for them it's just a waiting game now, waiting until that time ticks down and they can finally get Loggie in, get him out of the car, get Keane in the car for the final stint, but it will lose them the best part of a lap, really, when they do so under green flag conditions. Right now, he's got to try and Scarper, and may well end up taking with him the number 9 machine of Martin Plowman. In fact, Martin might actually have the pace to unlap himself here, being a pro driver. Up towards Copse Corner we go, then 27.25 minutes to go, and the battle to watch is the one right in that ball of spray.
We get this horrible GT4, GT3 mix. The GT3s can't overtake before the line under safety car, so you feel like you're tripping over them. You've got to plan your restart. You've got to start from a long way back and use that catapult effect to cross them just after the line, but not just follow them at a slow pace. You need that bit of slingshot to go. You can see Kevin Say still flashing his lights. You can see that get down the inside. The 22 car there of Lewis Plato. It's hard at the moment to actually know who the pro and the AMs are because there's such mixed strategy. That looks like Callum McLeod there in the Greystone GT Mercedes. I haven't seen much of that car. Oh, see Cotton on the grass. He was alongside Smalley. Was that Smalley easing him over? It looked like it. That's probably Smalley's best defence because I don't think he had the pace to hold Clutton off earlier. And I think now there's 28 minutes remaining. Teammates really showing true colours.
And here maybe comes Mardenborough. Mardenborough's got past Darren Leung as well. Perhaps not too surprising, but Jan Mardenborough, the white and blue McLaren, trying to buy into this fight as well. So this potentially is for the Silverstone 500 victory. And Adam Smalley in a whole world of GT4 trouble. Clutton's got a gap on the inside, and through he goes. And Marcus Clutton with a brilliant opportunity to move this contact with the back marker though. And here comes Mardenborough at the inside of the pair of them and gets ahead of both. Jan Mardenborough, perfect track position, and he gets ahead of Clutton, who immediately tries to fight back round the outside into Abbey. The Lotus is in the way, the Lotus is turning in. There is almost inevitably going to be some contact, but somehow Mardenborough's still in front.
Incredible. It was like Lewis Hamilton, wasn't it, in F1 when he swept past to take the lead. He takes the Lotus, going to spin, go left. Is that going to be contact?
Oh!
Clutton locks up, hits Mardenborough, it's going to get hit again. No, Smalley goes back into lead. How similar was that to F1? Hamilton was like Mardenborough there. Jan Mardenborough, I feel so sorry for you, mate. Absolute class act, first time back in a race car in such a long time, and you look like a fully innocent bystander there. So much going on. So I think Smalley is in the lead. Let's try to ignore these cars in the foreground. Clutton, I think you're going to get a penalty. I think that looked like your fault as my first glaze. So aggressive, Marcus, so good, but just too much there. What are we looking at here? Look at Jan in the background. He's going to inherit the lead in the next 30 metres. Clutton does great down there, but has to overslow it to not hit the Lotus, then hits the Mercedes. Jan just sweeps through. Amazing vision by Clutton to even see him there because there's not an overtaking spot. So this is Seb Morris that got the hit from Clutton. We're going to see going through, sweeping. Smalley's probably going to go past on our right soon as well. Then the GT3s all pan out. We then get a Lotus spinning, don't we, somewhere in this pack? Is it the car 2 in front on the left that we just can't see now? It's popping in. Is this the car that then spins? We're going to see then Clutton going down there. There goes the Lotus, and Clutton in the... That was amazing driving by Seb Morris. I think he just clipped him, but I think he got away with that one. But that was action-packed, wasn't it, to say the least? So here's the context. It doesn't look like, I thought maybe Smalley and Clutton hit, and that caused Clutton to go deep, but I think that was all on Clutton.
Marcus Clutton in the background still hasn't found a way past Adam Smalley. They've actually nearly caught Kevin Say for what would now actually be the race lead. Say inherits the lead with Loggy pitting, but look, it's the McLarens behind that are dicing for what should be the race victory. Clutton tries to get the switch back. He's got the overlap. He's got the inside line into Adrian. He goes through into second place at the moment, but the net race lead, and that time it was squeaky clean. A perfectly judged switchback manoeuvre on the exit of the loop. But now, can he get away?
Penalty, full course yellow infringement, speeding.
Well, how's this going to pan out? 20 minutes? I think Clutton needs to get his head down and hope the penalty he gets is smaller than the gap that he's going to have to Smalley in sort of 11 laps time. Tom Roach, I think that car's
Car
been...
77, stop-go penalty for causing a collision with 23.
Totally agree with it. Stop and go slightly harsher, adds another maybe 3 or 4 seconds, but sliding it through there. Marcus will be devastated, livid, angry, all of those emotions into one. I've had it before when I've been in the car and I've made a mistake similar to Marcus, and you somehow trick yourself into, I wasn't guilty, this is unfair, this is unjust, and then in the cold light of day when you watch it back you go, what an idiot, like why am I so thick, and you get angry again, but a different reason.
Yeah, Adam Smalley will put a lap on Jack Brown. He will come out of Woodcote Corner, he'll see the checkered flag, and he and Sean Balfe will win the Silverstone 500 for 2024. Another phenomenal edition of this great race, and in the end the winning margin is over 5 seconds. Sam and Richard Neary will be very happy though still, I think, with a podium finish, whilst it looks as though we're going to have 2 McLarens on the podium, with the number 67 example due through any moment. Here they come, Simon Orange and Tom Roach on the overall podium, and as Joe said, the top 3 cars all silver AMs, which is quite a remarkable turn of events. So the win in the Silverstone 500 goes the way of Garage 59. It was Adam Smalley and Sean Balfe victorious by in the end just over 5 seconds from the Nearys in second position. Simon Orange and Tom Roach for Orange Racing by JMH were third, and then the first of the Pro-Am cars, Johan Mardenborough, despite that late spin, ending up at least with a class victory alongside Chris Buncombe. Tilbrook and Clutton were 5th and 2nd in class after the penalty, ahead of the surviving Marlboro Motorsport Lamborghini with the Collards. Then it was Blackthorn, Optimum's number 84 car, Ram Racing and the number 6 2Cs Motorsport car that started on the 3rd row of the grid that completes the top 10.